Alright, so this video is actually going to be kind of controversial because we're going to be talking about something that will completely challenge your current belief as to what it is to have a good life. And before we actually begin though, I want to give you guys a warning. It's controversial, you know. If you don't want your beliefs questioned, you should get out of this video. Go watch some other YouTuber, go watch some self-improvement channel that will tell you the same thing 100 different times. But if you want to have a good life, and when I mean a good life, I mean a life that you feel like you're in control of. You don't have to show up to go to work. You don't have to be a slave to a system. Then this video is going to be that, because we're going to be talking about how the American dream, and for some people, like, the American dream is just having wealth. For some people, the American dream is just having a family, having a home, having a car, having a nice stable job. You know, there's many different descriptions to the American dream. But for me, guys, and it might be just because I'm like young, but for me, I've come to the conclusion that the current American dream, and what people consider the American dream, is a jail in disguise. And I know it's quite this statement to say this, because if you go to America, let's say you move from another country here, you feel like America is the land of opportunity. And you know, I'm not gonna disagree with you. I think America still has tons of opportunity, but there is a trap that most people fall into when they're working towards the goal of the American dream, and that is, you know, having the things that they tell you are part of the American dream, right? They tell you should have a nice home. They tell you should have, you know, a family. You should have a pet, some kind of pet, right? Like a dog, a cat, all these things. And if you pay attention to this stuff, what is this stuff? This is basically commitment. They want you to have a commitment. And funny enough, like, most of the things that I mentioned, they like, you know, you have to spend money on them, right? If you want to have a house, you need to get a mortgage, a 30-year mortgage, and you know that costs money, right? If you want a car, what do you need to do? Oh, you know, if you want a good car, like the American dream tells you, you don't want to beat up car, right? You need a nice car. What do you do when you get a nice car? You lease it. You lease it, guys. You don't own it. You lease it. You basically give a nice down payment. You have like a decent car. You don't pay a lot of it, but you know, you pay a monthly payment, and then after a couple like months, you have to then go take it to the dealership and get a new one. You do the same thing with your phone. You do your same thing with, you know, what about like having kids, right? Memberships. You have to go take your kid to like a private school, which I do agree that private schools are better, because you know, you kind of put them in like a social status area where, you know, they already have like a preserved status, so they all kind of start equally. Public schools, I'm gonna make a video on public schools and how they can actually ruin you. So that's gonna be a video for the future. But anyway, let's go back to the American dream, right? And trust me, guys, everyone else that you're trying to keep up, these are not real people. These are people that have money that, you know, they just kind of make it out of thin air, because at the end of the day, money just comes out of thin air, right? The government literally prints it, and you're trying to keep up with people that can print trillions of dollars in like weeks. Like, how are you gonna keep up with that? You know, you with your stagnant wages, yeah, you're definitely gonna keep up with that, right? When the average American makes about $15 an hour, and that's like the average, you know, considering high salaries, and people that even like went to college and got like actual degrees that have like you have to pay for. That's the average. $50 an hour, guys. It's insane to me. I think that if you have $1 million in net worth, I think you have a version of the American dream. But most people don't have that, guys. Most people are, you know, they have payments up their eyeballs. And you know how I say that you should be consistent with how much money you make, and you know how you keep up to your goals, guys. Today was a lazy day for me, guys. I literally sat here all day. I did like one side gig, like 4 hours of side gigs, made $50, and then now I'm just here chilling for the rest of the day, guys. I have no energy to continue, but guess what? This is still profitable for me. I can still go out, and if I want to continue making money, like, I have different side gigs right now. I have like 4 or 5 different side gigs that I can just go and continue making money, but I don't have to do that because I don't, you know, I'm not a slave to this, you know, endless cycle of payments and bills that you have to pay to have a decent life, to keep up with, you know, everyone else. Because everyone else isn't actually keeping up with this lifestyle, by the way. Everyone else is stuck in the same cycle that you see, you know, bills and utilities and car payments and debt, and it's just this endless cycle of, you know, keeping the things afloat. And I'm not gonna say it's everyone's fault. Some people just don't know, guys. Some people aren't like intelligent, or they haven't gone through like this, like, oh my god, everything is so expensive, you know. And it bothers me that so many people are in this trap, because I, you know, recently realized that, you know, sometimes just staying out of this entire jail in disguise, it might be just better for you guys. You know, it might be smarter to take the early age that you have, right? If you're in your 20s and 30s, and take that time and just, you know, figure out who you are, figure out what you want to do, and, you know, stick to the bare necessities, stick to like the absolute basics. I mean, if you need a home, wouldn't this be enough? There's a bed there. You know, there's enough space to work here. You need a car. This is a car. You know, if you look at the basics, guys, a phone, this has the Mint system, which is like $15 a month, right? What about internet? Well, for internet, just go to a library. Libraries are free, you know? If you actually need the good internet, then you can get the $50 service and have the phone paid off. You don't need to change your phone every single year. That's a waste of money, you know? Does it make sense what I'm saying to you guys? I hope it really does, because, you know, if I were to keep up with the Joneses right now, I'd be completely screwed. You know, this is me essentially like being spit out from the system because I'm too young. Unless, you know, I get some random girl with me and then we both go into this endless cycle of suffering, because the American dream right now, you need at least 3 people working on that household to actually afford it. And even so, they're still like have debt to their eyeballs and they're still miserable because they still have to afford all this stuff. And for me personally, from what I've seen around, guys, most people can't afford this. Most people use like government assistance. Most people have like 4 different family members working all over the home, and they still can't afford it. They still can't afford this American dream. So what's the only thing you can do, honestly? Throw it away. Discard it. You don't need it. You can get to it eventually, but don't try to fake your way into it, guys. You know, having a house, having a nice car, all those things, you can get them over time, but first you have to conquer your level, you know, where you're at. You have to be realistic. If I make $14 an hour, if my household makes the $60K a year, which I actually believe it's less than that. I feel like the average is technically around $40K, and that's between like 2 family members working, so $20K a year. That's like the average. You know, if you really can't afford the house and afford the stuff, guys, figure out, you know, how to make it as frugal as possible. And I'm actually really lucky that I'm kind of like on my own path. You know, I don't want to say like I'm independent, but because I still rely on family, even though I'm not with them. I still talk to them. I still, you know, say, hey dad, hey mom, you know, I'm here, I'm somewhere. You know, I still keep up with my family. I'm not like this lone wolf that just went independent. No, I'm not that, guys. And I feel like you have to connect with your family. I feel like it's important to have some sort of family around, even if they're not useful to you. At least, you know, check on them, be nice to them. Friends can also be a form of family, guys, but you know, I'm on my own in this case because I'm actually like, you know, traveling and working on building something, but that's another story, right? So the conclusion to this video is that, you know, try to question everything, guys. One of my goals with this channel is to bring awareness to even the little things, right? Is the things that you're doing, did you actually decide to do them? Is this something that you learned yourself, or is this something that somebody just gave you and said, here you go, this is what you got to do, this is how you do it, and then you realize you just can't afford it, right? And then you're like, oh, this, I gotta keep up because this is what they're supposed to do, right? I'm supposed to do this. Really? You're supposed to do that? Have you ever thought that maybe the solution to your problem is something that only you can do, only you can solve? Have you actually take a look at everything that you actually do and realize, you know what? Maybe it's better to just figure things out my own. I'm not gonna use the thing that everyone tells me. I'm not gonna get the fancy, you know, phone payment. I can do just fine with a $200 phone. I don't need to get the $60K lease car. Maybe a $2,000, $3,000 beater can do until I have enough money saved and invested that works for me, that I can get a $5K car, you know? I always felt that like Dave Ramsey had a good thing going on a couple of years ago, but now he's completely disconnected from reality because, you know, now I get so mad when like people call him and he's like, oh, I have $200,000 in savings. I don't know what to do with this money. Like, get the fuck out of Dave Ramsey, man. That's not your audience, man. Anyway, I'm just ranting, right? Anyway, the point is that, you know, at the end of the day, guys, understand where you're at, understand your level, and understand that for the vast majority of people, this American dream is it's usually at the end of it. It's like one of those like last things that you do, and you kind of climb up there. You don't just come here to this country, or you're not born here, and you just kind of like spawn into the American dream. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep up. You're gonna try to keep up with everyone else. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's kind of controversial. Again, this is a controversial channel because I don't get paid for YouTube. I just do this because I want to give you guys awareness. I want to see a channel that honestly for you guys, you kind of like my friend, but like a friend that I can trust. Not one of these friends that you kind of just, you know, they tell you something and you kind of just tag along with it. No. If you say something that I disagree with, I'll tell you why, and then we can build like a gray zone between those arguments and come up with something. At the end of the day, you shouldn't take my advice as like a Bible. You should take it as something that just somebody that cares about you tells you. You know, like when your dad tells you that, hey, Maybe you should clean your room, and you're like, oh man, he doesn't know what I'm talking about. Maybe he comes from a place that, you know, he used to have a messy room, and he realized that, you know, having a messy room isn't worth it. And, you know, to be fair, guys, like, you know, respect your parents. Don't be an ass to them. They care about you. Just try to see their point of view. There's a video on it called Second Character Mindset, and how, you know, for everyone else you're a side character. That's a really good video to watch. You should probably watch it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.